Mayo. 8. After a decade together, Kim Woo Bin and Shin Min-ah exposed the secret they never intended to reveal. Kim Woo Bin. Shin Min-ah. Secret revealed. K-drama couple. Behind the bulletin. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. And welcome to Hidden Korea. Tonight, we invite you into a story that has set every corner of the entertainment world buzzing with excitement, shock, and pure electrifying glamour. At the heart of AAA 2025. A viral tension between Park Bo-gum and Kim Yoo Jung has suddenly erupted online, igniting speculation, stirring fan debates, and turning a single moment into the headline of the night. Their unexpected chemistry has everyone asking the same question: what really happened behind those dazzling lights? But that's not all. As the red carpet heated up, Junho and Yoona arrived with an aura so powerful, so regal, that fans are calling them the king and queen of AAA 2025. Their presence didn't just captivate, they dominated. Radiating elegance and charisma that left the entire venue breathless. An explosive mix of mystery, glamour, and royal-level star power awaits you. So sit back, hold your breath, and get ready. Because we're diving in right now. The atmosphere at AAA 2025 was supposed to be predictable, glamorous, polished, meticulously orchestrated. But as the night unfolded, it became clear that this was no ordinary awards ceremony. Something electric pulsed beneath the surface. Something that audiences could feel but couldn't fully explain. And at the center of that growing spark were four names that would end up dominating every headline across Asia within hours: Park Bo-gum, Kim Yoo Jung, Junho, and Yoona. The storm began quietly. Park Bo-gum arrived early, dressed in a sleek obsidian suit that highlighted his calm, regal aura. He greeted staff members politely, smiled at fans, bowed to seniors. Everything about him was controlled, graceful, until Kim Yoo Jung stepped onto the red carpet. She emerged like a burst of light, her silver gown shimmering like moonlit water. Cameras exploded with flashes, and even seasoned reporters found themselves holding their breath. Bo-gum, standing backstage at that very moment, froze. The large LED screen showed Yoo Jung taking her first steps onto the carpet. But what caught everyone's attention wasn't the screen, it was Bo-gum himself. His expression shifted, just a fraction, but enough for the few staff nearby to exchange surprised glances. It was as if something long buried had resurfaced instantly. Uninvited, unstoppable. Later, a backstage camera would capture the moment the two crossed paths, an unguarded, split-second exchange of eye contact that carried an intensity impossible to hide. Yoo Jung's breath hitched. Bo-gum's posture tightened as if bracing against an emotion he no longer knew how to contain. The tension between them was subtle, silent, but charged like thunder preparing to break. As the whispers began spreading among staff, another storm was brewing, one far louder and far more blinding. Because just as that charged silence settled between Bo-gum and Yoo Jung, the venue erupted into screams so loud the floor seemed to vibrate. Junho and Yoona had arrived, hand in hand, not romantically, but with such effortless synchronicity that they looked like royalty descending from a palace. Junho's white suit reflected the lights like armor, while Yoona's golden gown cascaded behind her like flowing sunlight. Together, they commanded the entire red carpet with a kind of presence that didn't just attract attention, it demanded it. Fans shouted their names in harmony. Lights refracted across their perfectly coordinated outfits. Every camera fought for a shot as the duo walked with regal precision, laughing softly, exchanging glances that felt scripted yet impossibly natural. Commentators immediately labeled them the king and queen of AAA 2025. But what no one expected was how their majestic arrival would amplify the tension already looming backstage. As Junho and Yoona glided toward the main stage, their aura seemed to overshadow the entire event. Yet at the same moment, behind the curtains, Bo-gum and Yoo Jung were standing only a few feet apart, close enough to feel each other's presence. Too far to speak the words, their eyes were already screaming. Bo-gum's fingers curled slightly at his side, as if fighting an impulse. Yoo Jung's breath came unevenly, the overwhelming noise outside contrasting sharply with the fragile quiet around them. It was a collision of two worlds, the polished royalty of Junho and Yoona dominating the spotlight, and the raw, trembling tension of Bo-gum and Yoo Jung hidden just out of sight. And then it happened, the moment that would go viral. A staff member pushed through the crowd too quickly, bumping into Yoo Jung. She stumbled. Bo-gum reacted instantly, grabbing her wrist, steadying her with a gentleness that looked far too intimate to be casual. Yoo Jung looked up at him, eyes wide, confused, and longing all at once. Entire interaction lasted less than 2 seconds, but a camera caught everything. Later, fans would slow the clip down frame by frame, analyzing every breath, every blink, every muscle in their faces. Why does he hold her like that? She looks at him like she knows something we don't. This isn't friendly. This is history. By the time they pulled apart, when Yoona had stepped onto the main stage, roaring applause that shook the entire venue. Their king-queen aura was undeniable. But online, a different kind of fire was igniting, one fueled not by glamour, but by emotion. 2 storms. 2 energies. 2 pairs who didn't just walk into AAA 2025, they rewrote it. And the night was far from over. Because what happened next would push both stories past a point of no return. The moment the clip of Bogum catching Yoo Jung surfaced online, chaos erupted. It spread from fan cafes to TikTok to international forums within minutes. Different angles appeared, each more incriminating, more emotionally charged, more devastatingly intimate than the last. One shot showed Bogum's hand lingering half a second too long. Another captured Yoo Jung biting her lip, studying more than just her balance. A third, zoomed in, revealed the reflection of stage lights in their eyes. 2 people suspended in a moment they hadn't meant to reveal. While the internet exploded into theories, the atmosphere inside the AAA venue grew eerily tense. Yoo Jung felt the weight of every glance as she prepared for her performance segment. Bogum, waiting to present his next award, behind the stage like a man fighting a storm brewing inside his chest. But outside, on the main floor, Yoo and Yoona continued their royal reign with mesmerizing grace. They delivered their introductions flawlessly. Chemistry effortless and radiant. Fans couldn't stop praising them. They look like a king and queen in a drama. No one can touch their elegance tonight. They overshadow every other pairing. And yet, just beneath that curtain of applause, a darker speculation began forming. Pointed out the timing. Why did the royal duo steal the spotlight just minutes before the viral moment backstage? Was it coincidence, or fate's cruel sense of humor? Because as soon as Junho and Yoona walked off stage, a staff member whispered something urgently into Junho's ear. He stiffened almost imperceptibly. Yoona noticed. Her expression faltered just for a heartbeat before she regained her smile. They knew something was happening, but not what. Meanwhile, backstage, the unavoidable confrontation arrived. Found Yoo Jung alone near the costume corridor. Her hands clasped tightly in front of her as she stared at the floor. She didn't hear him approach, but she felt it, the familiar presence behind her. The quiet warmth he carried even in silence. "Aching," he said softly. She flinched. "No. I'm fine." "You're not," his voice lowered. "And it's because of me." She looked up then, eyes shimmering with a mix of fear, frustration, and something far more dangerous. "It's because the world saw something we never meant to show." Bogum exhaled slowly, his jaw tightening. What they saw wasn't wrong. Yoo Jung froze. The air between them thickened, pulling them closer even as they tried to resist. History sat heavily on their shoulders, years of quiet admiration, unspoken affection. Connection they had abandoned not because it faded but because it terrified them. "You know what this means," she whispered. "Headlines, the pressure, the accusations." "No," he replied, stepping closer. "Also know I'm tired of pretending none of it mattered." Before she could respond, a sudden burst of screams shattered the fragile moment. Junho and Yoona had re-entered the backstage area after finishing their segment, cameras flashing aggressively around them as reporters pushed for reactions. The two scenes collided. Junho noticed Bogum first, standing too close to Yoo Jung. His eyes narrowed slightly, not with jealousy, but with the sharp intuition of someone who had seen enough scandals to recognize the shape of one. Yoona's gaze flicked between them, her expression calm but piercing, as if calculating the implications instantly. And a reporter shouted the words everyone dreaded. "Park Bogum. Kim Yoo Jung. Do you have anything to say about the viral video?" The hallway froze. Bogum instinctively stepped in front of Yoo Jung, shielding her from the cameras. Junho and Yoona exchanged a quick, unreadable glance, royalty recognizing the makings of a battlefield. Security intervened, pushing reporters back. The damage was done. Rumors mutated into certainty. Clips were now edited with dramatic music. Subtitles, slow motion. By the time the final award of the night began, Internet had already crowned them the scandal of AAA 2025. But destiny still had one last twist. When the ceremony ended, all 4 stars, Bogum, Yoo Jung, Junho, and Yoona, found themselves in the same VIP holding room before exiting the venue. The air was thick with tension, pride, and unspoken truths. A storm of camera flashes awaited outside to devour them whole. Yoo Jung swallowed hard. "What are we supposed to do now?" Bogum looked at her with quiet determination. "We walk out there. Not as victims. Not as liars. But as people who are no longer afraid." Junho smirked in admiration. "Bold." Yoona softened, her voice gentle yet strong. "Whatever happens, make sure it's your truth, not theirs." Doors to the exit slowly opened. The screams of fans surged like crashing waves. The lights were blinding. The world was watching. And in that electric moment, 4 figures stepped forward, 2 radiating royal poise. 2 wrapped in attention so raw it felt like destiny unfolding in real time. The night ended, but the story was only beginning. It was open wider, and the blinding lights poured in like a tidal wave. Outside, a storm of cameras waited, hungry, relentless, unforgiving. The 4 stars stepped forward together, but the atmosphere around them was anything but unified. Junho and Yoona walked with the effortless elegance that had earned them the title of AAA's king and queen. Their expressions serene, their posture flawless. They seemed untouchable, untarnished, with a grace that only true royalty could carry. Behind them, Park Bogum and Kim Yoo Jung moved in a different kind of spotlight, one forged not from admiration, but from explosive curiosity. Every step they took intensified the rumbling energy in the crowd. Reporters leaned forward as if the next breath might spill a confession. Fans screamed their names in chaotic harmony. The tension between them was undeniable, visible even from a distance. Like a spark caught between 2 souls too connected to break apart yet too afraid to draw closer. Yoo Jung's heartbeat pounded in her ears. The flash of a camera felt like a blow. But then she felt it, Bogum's presence at her side, steady, grounding, unwavering. Didn't touch her, didn't speak, didn't look directly at her. Yet she sensed a silent promise in the air. A promise that whatever storm waited beyond those barricades, he wasn't going to let her face it alone. A reporter shouted the bombshell question. "Park Bogum, Kim Yoo Jung, are you 2 dating?" The crowd erupted. Microphones thrust forward. Fans screamed louder. Yoo Jung froze, breath caught in her throat. Inhaled deeply, steady, slow, resolute. And then, instead of denying, instead of panicking, instead of hiding, simply turned his head slightly toward her. Not enough for the cameras to read his lips, but enough for her to hear the words meant only for her. "We'll tell our story when we're ready." Her eyes widened, not from fear this time, but from a surge of courage she didn't know she still possessed. She straightened her shoulders, lifted her chin, and met the cameras with a calm that felt newly forged. She didn't run. She didn't hide. Faced the storm. The flashes continued. The chaos swirled. Something had shifted. Because in that moment, the world finally saw it, not just the viral tension, not just the speculation, not just the scandal they tried to paint over them. They saw 2 people stepping into their truth. Behind them, Junho and Yoona exchanged a knowing glance, one that carried respect, empathy, and a hint of amusement at the swirling drama that had unfolded around them. Together, all 4 walked into the night, carrying their own radiant aura, 2 wrapped in royal brilliance, 2 wrapped in a fragile, undeniable connection that felt destined to grow. And as the venue lights dimmed and the noise faded into the distance, the story of AAA 2025 settled into legend, not because of awards or performances, but because of the emotions that refused to stay hidden. Love? Was it destiny? Was it a beginning or the revival of something long buried? Only time would tell. One thing was certain. The world would be watching. Thank you for joining us on this thrilling journey through one of the most unforgettable nights in Korean entertainment. Your curiosity, excitement, and energy are what keep Hidden Korea alive. Stay tuned, because every moment hides a secret. Every secret is just waiting for the right pair of eyes to uncover it. See you in the next explosive story. Attitude. Hidden Korea.